welcome to The Explainer. We're all drowning in information. But what if the real threat isn't just fake news? What if it's something way more fundamental? Today, we're digging into a really powerful argument from author Bryant McGill, who says we're looking at this all wrong. It's not a problem of truth. It's a problem of energy.
So right off the bat, the author hits us with this pretty stark warning. The real danger isn't that the universe is going to end. It's that meaning will. Our ability, your ability, to make sense of the world is what's actually at stake. And it's happening right now.
All right, so let's dig into how this actually works. The author calls it semantic saturation. See, we're not just swimming in random data. We're drowning in a flood of noise that has been intentionally shaped to fool us, to look and feel like it means something important.
And this right here is such a critical distinction. It's not that truth isn't out there anymore. It's that the cost of finding it, the sheer energy it takes to wade through all the garbage, has just become too high. It's computationally and I'd say humanly unaffordable.
Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. McGill completely reframes the whole issue. We've been treating this like it's a problem of politics or culture, but he argues it's much deeper than that. It's actually a physics problem. So he actually gives this thing a name, adversarial entropy. Think about it. This isn't just random static. It's noise that's been specifically engineered to look meaningful, to make you waste your attention trying to figure it out, all while being almost impossible to pin down or disprove. This slide just lays out the core problem so perfectly. On one hand, you have the actual universe. It's complex, sure, but it follows laws. It can be understood, compressed into theories. On the other hand, you have bullshit. It's designed to do the exact opposite. It resists understanding, it has endless variations, and the more attention you give it, the more it grows and spreads like a cancer. So here's the bottom line. It is always, and I mean always, cheaper and easier to create bullshit than it is to disprove it. This isn't just an opinion. It's a fundamental energy asymmetry. If you try to fight it head-on, you're playing a game you are almost mathematically guaranteed to lose. And get this, the author even breaks it down into a kind of taxonomy. You've got your basic misinformation, just honest mistakes. Then you have disinformation, which is intentionally false. Propaganda twists narratives to build identity. But at the top, or maybe the bottom, you have pure bullshit. It doesn't care about truth or lies. Its only goal is to occupy your attention. But they all do the same thing. They burn your energy for nothing. So what do we do about it? Well, the author's solution is probably not what you're expecting. It's super counterintuitive. If the problem is that your energy is being drained, the answer isn't to get a bigger brain battery. The answer is to stop plugging into the things that drain you in the first place. And wow, this quote just nails the whole idea. For so long, we've thought that being smart meant knowing more, absorbing everything. But in this new world, the author argues that true intelligence, the key to survival, is actually about getting really, really good at deciding what not to pay attention to. I mean, think about it. Trying to outthink an opponent whose only goal is to waste your time and energy, it's a losing strategy. It is categorically the wrong move. It's like trying to empty the ocean with a bucket. You're just going to exhaust yourself.
And why is that? Well, because any system, whether it's your brain or a supercomputer, that just tries to suck in everything eventually breaks. The very act of making sense of it all becomes the bottleneck. And you're left with two options. Either you collapse into total confusion, or you protect yourself by hardening into a rigid, unthinking dogma. So, if brute force is a losing game, what's left? Well, it turns out the only viable strategy, the only winning move, is what he calls selective refusal. It's about deliberately, strategically, choosing to ignore huge chunks of the information landscape to protect yourself.
Okay, so if this is the way forward, what does that future actually look like? And maybe more importantly, what's the human cost of all this? What does it mean for us? And the author gives us this incredible metaphor to picture it. The future of intelligence isn't going to be some single connected global consciousness. Nope. It's going to be these small, protected islands of coherence, pockets of sanity that survive because they've learned to just stop listening to the storm of noise raging around them. But, and this is a big but, there's a real human cost here. It means accepting that finding clarity for yourself might also mean being isolated. It means that as you tune out the noise, you might feel more and more disconnected from the loud, chaotic world everyone else seems to be living in. So what does this look like in our day-to-day lives? Well, it breaks down into a few practical steps. First, you have to recognize that being endlessly open can actually be a form of self-harm. Then, you got to stop arguing with people who have no interest in finding common ground. Curate your feeds. If something leaves you feeling angry and drained, stop consuming it. And finally, just disengage from all the online drama and performance.
And that brings us to this final, and I think pretty radical idea. We tend to think of selective ignorance as a flaw, right? But the argument here is that in the 21st century, the skill of not listening is becoming just as essential for our survival as learning to read once was.
And so, we're left with this final and honestly kind of haunting question from the author. If survival means we have to build these walls and refuse most of what's out there, we have to ask ourselves, what is that essential, irreducible part of us that we're protecting? What is the thing at the center of it all that makes our survival worth it in the first place?